Alright, what you see here is a Hunter Bedford ceiling fan. This is a 44-inch ceiling fan that was sold at Target back in the late 90s. I got this from fan collector Brian Hicks, better known as the Deep Voice fan collector on YouTube. Well, that's his other name, but yeah. Now, as you can tell, it's literally a Bayport and a Beacon Hill combined. Well, I see it more as a Bayport, just because it's a 4-blade configuration, this with a 3-light. But something that's interesting about it is that it's in a finish that the Bayport never came in, which is white and bright brass, and it has a 3-light filler included. Now, for something like this to be sold at Target back then, I'm honestly pretty surprised that they even sold something of this quality there. I know they sold Hunter stuff there and other decent fans at Walmart and Kmart and such back in the 80s and 90s, but for something like this to be sold there, I'm honestly surprised. I know they sold like a lot of Coastal Breeze, Silent Breeze variants at those stores back in the day, but to sell something that's more of like the showroom quality like this one, and when I say showroom quality, I mean more like the special order Hunter fans or something that you'd find at showrooms more specifically, and not at like a home center. Like the low profiles were sold at home centers. The Bayports weren't, but they were a special order fan at the home centers. But yeah, it has these nice light oak blades that I think go really nice with the finish of the fan. And as you guys probably can tell, there's definitely a noticeable difference in the camera quality. That is because I'm testing this video. Well, I'm filming this video with my new iPhone 12. I unfortunately was not able to get it earlier, otherwise I would have filmed it with the white blades by then. But the fan, the old phone just stopped working altogether, so I just went and changed it. So yeah, now there's still some videos that I have filmed with the old phone that are still private, so those are still going to be going up. But I'm kind of just like mixing up stuff to go up now and stuff to go up later, based on what I think people want to see sooner. But yeah. Now, from what I've been told, this was a fan that was sold at Sears, and I'm not sure if this was sold in any other finishes, but just in this finish alone, I think it looks really great. And I really do love the shades on it. That's one of the things I really do like about the fan. It's not just a typical Hunter shades that you'd see on these 42, 44-inch detachable switch housing Hunters from the late 90s and early 2000s. It's something that it's probably exclusive to this model, though it probably came with some of the white kits you could order or shades. But it's definitely a really nice feature to it. The fan itself is from the second quarter of 1998, and the box says it was made for Target. It says something along those lines. So I know this specific one is from Target. Let me go ahead and show it with the light. I definitely can say with this camera, it definitely makes the lighting definitely looks a lot better. It doesn't look so glary. Even if I cleaned the lens as much as possible on the old one, it definitely looks a lot better, to the point that you can still see the detail of the fan. I know some of the fans I tested, that was an issue, and I had to like adjust the lighting on the camera lens to focus on a certain area where I don't really need to do it on this one. But yeah, it definitely gives off good lighting. And now let me go ahead and start the fan off on low. I mean, it's not a huge difference in the camera quality, but it is definitely a noticeable difference. I'll just say that the iPhone 8 that I was using didn't film well, but it's definitely a noticeable difference between an iPhone 8 and iPhone 12. If it wasn't like the iPhone 11 or the 10 that I was filming it on, that'd be a different story. I'm just not a person that's will change a phone every year just because a new one comes out. I'd rather change it when it starts to have issues and such. A nice feature with this camera is I can zoom out even more than it already is zoomed out. So with the fans that I have with longer down rods, that would definitely be very handy. So, especially the industrials, that would definitely be very convenient. So I won't have to feel like I had to lean back so much the camera will zoom out on its own. As if I'm even further back, but I'm really just in the same spot. Definitely has a nice little speed to it. It's a fan I can definitely see in the kitchen without a question. Or like over a breakfast table, in a diner. There's a lot of places I can see this fan installed in. But most notably a kitchen or something like that. Or even a small bedroom. Yeah, what I'm noticing with this camera, it really does focus a little bit better on the details of the fan, especially while it's running. It's still in 1080p and such, or 4K. I'm actually not too sure. I had to see, but it's definitely noticeable that it's a little bit more clear, the picture. Makes me want to retest some of the other fans I had just recently tested, like the Victorian, what else? The Champagne Delta 2, some other fans as well, but I'll definitely come down the road. Like, there's a lot of other stuff I need to test instead. But yeah, it definitely has a nice low speed to it. Go ahead and show off the light. And it does use that mounting system from Hunter from the late 90s that a lot of people aren't the biggest fan of because it causes the fan to wobble a bit more. I definitely notice it happens more if you have it flush mounted, whereas if you have it installed on the down rod, it won't wobble as much. And it's more so due to the way that it's not like a round circle plate like the older ones. It's more like a 30, like a kind of like the mounting brackets that a lot of Hugger fans would use, but since it's not, but that also causes it to wobble a bit more as well. But yeah, even with the light on, like on the video, it really looks amazing. The quality of it. There's already quite a few fans I already have lined up to test this year that I already know will look really good on the camera. Especially one of which is one that can glow in the dark if you use black lights on it, which will be reviewed at some point in time. But the person that sold it to me, they already know which one I'm talking about. The only thing that I can see being an issue with this camera is that it'll definitely, with the fans that are in rougher shape or more beat up, it'll definitely be more apparent on camera. A lot of them usually, when I see them like disassembled, they look more beat up, certain ones, but when I put them together, they don't look as beat up. That's just something I notice. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and move it up to medium. Now, I remember at the Dominican Republic in the mid to late 2000s, there was a hardware store that I've had pics of where they had a lot of hunter fans that are like of this style. And I know they're in one of the old slideshow pics I did from the 2007 2008 slideshow pics that I've done. The 6-part slideshow series that I did back in 2013, which has actually been 8 years now that I've done them. Time really does fly. But yeah, that place had recently closed down about a year or two ago because there was another location literally down the street that was making more revenue, so they just closed that one down. Which stinks because that one still had a natural display of running fans, whereas the other one doesn't. But I remember they had a low profile too, and I think the bright brass finish on display, Beacon Hill of sorts. Like they had a lot of those types. I know they had a the weathered brick sea air on like one of those hunter outdoor mounts as well. But yeah, it's definitely a very nice fan. I really do like the look of it. A lot of people will look at it and think it's a modern fan. In some ways, you could say it is, like in terms of the design. Could definitely because Hunter used this design up until like 2013 to 2015 when they started to change over to a lot of they really started to redesign a lot of their models. So it still does have a more recent look to it, but the fact that this fan's over 20 years old, it definitely isn't a modern fan. All right, that's definitely a case with the Show Profile Plus in my kitchen. It definitely looks like a newer Hunter, especially it looks quite a bit like the Oakhurst, but it's actually a 20-year-old fan. Especially as of this year, actually, that fan's 20 years old. Just Hunter really keeps the same design on the fans for a while. Though more recently, they have been changing their designs on certain fans with newer designs and such. But the basic models, they still tend to keep them the same. But yeah, even a medium too, with a really good amount of air. Yeah, wobbles on medium a bit for some reason. Despite all the blades being in basically perfect alignment, and they're not loose at all. I mean, a wobble like this definitely doesn't bother me at all. And honestly, seeing it like this, like when this finished combo with the lights on, I think this would really look nice in my grandmother's kitchen in place of the Hampton Bay hugger or the Home Depot hugger that she has there. But since that house is probably going to get sold at some point in the future, since she can't live there by herself anymore, obviously I wouldn't put this there. But in terms of appearance, I think it would look really nice in the kitchen in terms of like the setting. But yeah, let me go ahead and turn the fan up to the high speed. Well, it wasn't a high speed as well. Oh, not nearly as much as it does on the medium speed, at least. I'm not sure why it's wobbling, because when I ran it on the low speed, it wasn't wobbling at all, and the blades looked to be in perfect alignment. Plus, the fan's brand new out of the box. But I'm 100% sure that it's the mounting bracket on these. They did later on go back to the round mounting plate. And then they came out with that triangular ball mount, which probably was due to a lot of people complaining about these hunters from the late 90s, early 2000s wobbling a lot. Especially when they claim to be wobble-free fans and such. And there is a easy way to use this canopy on the mounting plate, like a round circular one. Something I saw that Cole did with the Westminster he sent me a while back, the bright brass one, and that is that he drilled 3 holes on it. Oh, he used one of the existing holes and then made 2 other holes in the same one to line up with the round mounting plate, and you can use it like that. It's really easy fix, and you can still use this canopy. I honestly think these canopies look nicer than the ones from the early 90s, early to mid 90s. But that's just my opinion. I do like the ones from that era as well, but I just think these look a little bit nicer. Although I'm not the biggest fan of them due to the issue that's shown right here. It's definitely a good ad move regardless. Yeah, even like with if I'm holding the fan in place, the blades aren't like, they're just a tiny bit out of clock. Probably from just sitting around in the dining room for a bit before I put it up to test. Due to it sitting around a lot during the moving process of the stuff to the fan storage. But even then, it shouldn't be wobbling this much. And that's just mostly because the box, well, the mounting bracket it has, it kind of makes it wobble back and forth. So it's not really a flat mounting bracket. It's more like it's a very small one. So it kind of, it doesn't give it it doesn't cover up the mounting box that well to prevent it from wobbling and such. Which is why it wobbles the way you see here. Now, I'm not sure how long these were sold at Target for, but the fact that this is the first one that's really surfaced in the community, I'm pretty sure they didn't sell for that long. But I mean, at the same time, this was right around the time that the Bayport and the Beacon Hills were introduced. It was like around 1998, if I'm not mistaken, or 1997. Yeah, it's definitely a very good performing fan, especially for a fan of its size. Alright, now spin down here, now show it on reverse. Oh yeah, the blades aren't even really out of clock at all. So for it to be wobbling this much, I just goes to show you the issue that these mounting brackets on these late 90s hunters have. In fact, that was the issue that was really causing the Passport 2, the bright brass one that I had in the kitchen here for a few years when we first moved in. That was the main reason why it was wobbling. Not because it was on a 2x4. Though when I took it down, I was noticing that it's not so much that they put it on a 2x4. It was more so that the ceiling that was above it, they cut a hole when they were putting in a new box, I guess, when they put up the Harvard Beach Cheshire in that kitchen years ago before we moved in. So I feel like that also added to the fan wobbling so much as well. And of course it has a short spin on it, but that is also because this fan's literally brand new out of the box, except for right now where I'm testing it. So this is really the only time it's ever been run. So the bearings haven't really had a chance to break in and such. Even so, it still runs great. It's definitely a fan I can see myself installing somewhere in the future. I honestly I really could see myself installing it in the kitchen. I'd be really hesitant on it, but how do I say it? Like, it's not an all white fan; it's a white and brass fan, and I'd honestly install it the way you see it right here. But it's not like I couldn't find other Hunter parts to swap out if they were to get yellowed. Well, white and brass Hunter fans of this style aren't as common, and actually, now that I think about it. Maybe not in the kitchen, but maybe like if it was like a breakfast area off from the kitchen, then I'd consider it. Kind of like how at Zachary Yarns' old house, where you had that K63 Zephyr that came with the house. It had like that little breakfast area and such. This is like where I'd put this fan and such. Oops. Oh yeah, it definitely was one of my favorite fans that I scored last year in 2020. In fact, I had been wanting to find a white and brass Hunter fan of this style, and the fact that it's a very rare one makes it even better. Interesting that it's wobbling less on reverse now that I notice. Usually with the fans I test it's the other way around. I don't remember doing this when I was testing of the white blades facing down, but it might have. Could actually also just be the same, yeah, now I'm looking at it, especially on the high speed, it's definitely wobbling about the same that it does on downdraft. I am feeling a breeze from it over here on reverse on high. Yeah, it's definitely a really good performing fan. Alright, now to shut it off. And that'll be it for this video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed and stay tuned for more videos to come.